In a time of rigid dogma and materialism, when science and religion stood as warring factions, a woman emerged from the shadows of history, a wanderer, a seeker, a mystic. She walked the unseen paths between worlds, carrying with her knowledge that would unsettle the establishment and ignite a movement that would echo through time. Her name was Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, and this is her story. She was born on August 12, 1831, in Yekaterinoslav, in the heart of the Russian Empire. From the very start, there was something different about Helena. She did not play as other children did. She did not dream as others dreamed. Born into an aristocratic family, her mother, a writer of strange and thoughtful tales, and her grandfather, a man deeply versed in the arcane, fostered in her a mind that questioned everything. But even they could not explain the things she saw, the whispers that came from empty rooms, the fleeting shadows that moved in the corner of her vision, the strange presences that seemed to call her name in the silence of the night. She was a voracious reader of subjects such as mythology, ancient texts, the histories of forgotten civilizations. Her hunger for knowledge was insatiable, but knowledge alone was not enough. She longed for experience. She longed to see the hidden world for herself. At the age of 17, Helena was married to a much older man, Nikifor Blavatsky. It was a mistake. He sought to tame her restless spirit, to confine her to a life of domestic duty. But Helena was no ordinary woman. She did not belong in the salons of Russian aristocracy. She belonged on the road. And so she left. She did not just leave her husband, she left her world behind. She became a traveler of the unseen, moving through Egypt, Greece, and the Middle East. She wandered the sands of ancient lands, seeking the hidden truths buried beneath centuries of dust and doctrine. But her most fabled journey led her to India, to the sacred monasteries of Tibet. For years she learned in secret, studying the mysteries of the East. She was not merely a student, she was being prepared for something greater. In 1875, Blavatsky reappeared in the West, but she was no longer merely a seeker. She was now a teacher. She gathered like-minded thinkers, mystics, and philosophers, and together they formed the Theosophical Society. Its mission was clear: to unveil the hidden wisdom of the ages, to bridge the chasm between science, religion, and philosophy, and to awaken humanity to its true spiritual nature. Not all would accept this vision. Critics called her a fraud, a charlatan, a woman who spun tales too grand to be real. But for every skeptic, there were those who saw something different, something powerful. Among them, Henry Steele Olcott and William Quan Judge, who stood by her side as Theosophy spread like wildfire across continents. The movement needed a guide, a scripture for the modern seeker. And so Blavatsky wrote her first great work, Isis Unveiled. It had a profound impact on the intellectual and spiritual circles of her time. With a sharp critique of conventional science and religious institutions, Blavatsky argued that both had lost touch with true ancient wisdom. According to her, ancient traditions held deep knowledge of reality, but this knowledge was gradually distorted and forgotten. In this work, she explores the connection between ancient civilizations and occult traditions, bringing forth ideas that seemed revolutionary for the time. Furthermore, she argued that many phenomena considered supernatural had explanations that science had not yet fully understood. In 1888, Blavatsky released her magnum opus, The Secret Doctrine, an extensive compendium of esoteric teachings addressing the creation of the universe, the evolution of humanity, and the occult principles that govern existence. This book, based on the so-called stanzas of Zion, ancient texts of unknown origin, presents a complex cosmogonic vision describing cosmic cycles and the interaction between subtle and material planes. Her approach to cosmogony and anthropogenesis reveals a deep knowledge of the origin and destiny of humanity, placing the human being within a larger framework of spiritual evolution. Within this context, Blavatsky also introduced the idea of the seven rays and spiritual hierarchies, explaining how different levels of consciousness organize and structure existence on a subtle plane. The toll of her work, the accusations, the ceaseless fight to bring her vision into the world. It wore her down. She moved to India in 1879, establishing the headquarters of Theosophy in Adyar, a sanctuary for seekers from around the world. Yet controversy followed her. In 1884, she was accused of fraudulent supernatural phenomena. The London Society for Psychical Research denounced her, labeling her a deceiver. For some, her name became synonymous with deception. But for those who understood, she was something else entirely: a messenger, a guide, a guardian of forgotten wisdom. On May 8, 1891, Helena Petrovna Blavatsky passed from this world. Blavatsky's teachings did not fade with her passing in. The Theosophical Society spread across the world, influencing figures like Mahatma Gandhi, Rudolf Steiner, and Carl Jung. Her work paved the way for the New Age movement, the resurgence of Eastern spirituality in the West, and a renewed interest in the mystical traditions of the past. Her message: that truth is not confined to one religion, one philosophy, or one science, but lies hidden in the interconnected fabric of all existence, waiting for those with the courage to seek it. Theosophy endured. It spread, taking root in minds hungry for something more. Her writings inspired great thinkers, and even the modern New Age movement. Theosophy became a gateway, opening the Western world to the mysteries of the East. Helena Blavatsky remains an enigma, a woman who defied the conventions of her time and left an indelible mark on the world of esotericism. Was she a mystic or a manipulator, a prophet or a fraud? Perhaps the true answer lies, as she often said, in the seeking itself. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope that you join us on our next quest for enlightenment. Like always, stay curious.